several environmental and social justice groups are now suing the DHS and Acting Secretary Chad Wolf for the use of tear gas at demonstrations and protests in downtown Portland.
Now, this lawsuit claims the DHS violated the National Environmental Policy Act. Fox 12's Nora Hart is along now with a look at the lawsuit and what it claims.
Yeah, a lot of details packed into this lawsuit, you guys, and it was filed today and claims that the Department of Homeland Security is subjecting people at and near protests to a, quote, vast arsenal of weapons ranging from tear gas and rubber bullets to flashbangs and other chemical munitions. It details multiple physical effects of these munitions as well as environmental concerns. Nobody. Protesters have been on the streets of Portland for more than 125 days. In June, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler limited the Portland Police Bureau's use of CS gas to only when there was an immediate threat to life safety. 1 month later, federal agents were seen in Portland after acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf paid a visit to the heart of the city's protests.
It's time that we take a stand. It's time that the local leaders here publicly condemn what the violent anarchists are doing.
President Trump said Portland was out of control.
The politicians out there, yes, they're weak, but they're afraid of these people. They're actually afraid of these people.
State and local leaders denounced the federal agents' presence, saying they were only drawing larger crowds. And after weeks in Portland, Governor Kate Brown announced a phased withdrawal of those agents. Now the DHS is being hit with a new lawsuit. It looks at the impacts the tear gas has had on protesters as well as the environment. The lawsuit claims exposure to tear gas can cause cancer, organ damage, and even death on top of respiratory impacts. It also claims DHS used expired tear gas, saying that once a canister has expired, the mechanisms inside can break down and release gas faster and in higher concentrations than intended. The lawsuit goes on to say the gas lingers, sticking to streets and vegetation hours after use. Then it's eventually washed down storm drains into the Willamette, where the lawsuit claims it can affect aquatic life and other parts of the environment. The city's Bureau of Environmental Services, or BES, visited storm drain sites at the beginning of August while working to find out exactly how much tear gas may have been illegally washed down storm drains.
This is a difficult situation, and we are covering what we can to protect the Willamette River.
Eventually, the feds were fined $20,000 by the BES. Ultimately, the lawsuit claims that DHS violated the Administrative Procedural Act by failing to comply with the National Environmental Policy Act and publish documents that analyze and document environmental impacts of its operation. Now the groups want a court order that would force the DHS to stop using chemical munitions, including tear gas, until it performs a thorough analysis of both health and environmental impacts. They also want the information to be available to the public. We reached out to DHS for comment, but at this point we have not heard back. Live in studio, Nora Hart, Fox 12 Oregon.